Okay, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. Karina, good morning. We've missed you. Hope you're okay. Let me have a look. So, Karina, Little Hammer, how you doing, guys? Hope everyone is okay and ready for business. So, market as open. So, now, we look like we're just ranging, to be honest with you. So, I took a trade earlier on my one take profit trader account. The failure there, and it worked. That was it there. Slightly riskier because we're under that EMA, but to be honest with you, when you get two legs up like that and you get a bearish bar that triggers by one tick and pulls back, for me, 9 times out of 10 that's going to work. Especially after we'd broken lows. We got a bull bar there and we had a really strong bull bar there, a higher low. Once that triggered and start pushing up, that was going to push up all day long for me. So I made a few $100 on the one take profit trader account I picked up. So happy days. So yeah, we're pretty much just ranging at the moment. So let's see what happens. So whether we got a spike in a channel like that, that looks okay, in which case we've got to break 2 pushes to a new high. Now, I'm not in the market to sell just yet because there are some sellers up there. So although that looks like a spike in channel, 2 pushes up, it may well come back to the EMA, but with those sellers up there, I just can't get into this. Yeah, finally. I've not had much luck with Take Profit Trader, purely and simply because it takes 5 days and I tend to want to rush it. But I just traded it relatively sensible. I went more on intuition, really, what I thought was going to happen. Because we're not getting a great deal of setup, so I didn't trade it ridiculously. I used my brain a little bit. But yeah, I finally got one now. So my plan throughout this year is just to grow these 21 counts I've got, take little bits of payment, and maybe halfway through the year, I'm going to add 5 Traderify and 5 Lucid. And what I'm going to do with those is go for the $150,000 accounts because you've got $6,000 drawdown. I've got 2.5 with Apex, so I can trade 2 contracts and still have a little bit left over. So at least that'll help grow accounts a little quicker. I don't like $150,000 accounts when I've got a trading evaluation because $9,000 I think is just mental. You got Lucid, have you? Yeah. So I've had Traderify accounts. I've had 5 of them before. I got 4 of them to pay out and lost the the 5th one. That was last year sometime, I think middle of last year. So yeah, my plan is by the end of this year to have about 35 accounts, fingers crossed. So 20 Apex. The beauty is if you have 5 Traderify and 5 Lucid, and they're the $150,000 accounts, I've got more drawdown in those 10 accounts than I have in 20 Apex accounts. So that's the equivalent, really, of having more than 40 $50,000 accounts. So I think that's the way to go, to be honest with you. As you guys know, I'm not a massive fan of evaluations anymore. They tend to bring out the worst in me. So, but we'll see how we get on. I don't want to run before I can walk. But we've had a good start to the year anyway, so nice and slow. I only use 150 accounts. I prefer, yeah. I prefer room. It gives you the training away, going for bigger moves and runners. Yeah. Keep doing what you do, lads. It seems to have your stuff sorted out. Thanks, mate. It's taken me 5 years. Second entry long there. I'm leaving this at the moment. Do I expect price to go up? I think it may do because there's orders above here and we haven't broken overnight highs yet. So my guess is it probably would. But as we've had a break from this 2 pushes to a new high, you never quite know it. You know, we are ranging at the moment and sometimes it doesn't quite hit as high as I think it may do. But we'll see anyway. But I'm not a massive fan of trading ranges unless we get something like this. If we clear previous and we get a nice bull bar followed by a higher low, I mean, that thing was massive, but that was much better, the failure, and that, you know, worked. It was a bit slow, but it was pre-market. But there you go. So, yeah, on Traderify and Lucid, the $150,000, they're about $200 more to buy, but I think it's worth it. If you can go for 2 contracts, you know, you'll make your money back easy enough, I think. I wouldn't do them unless I was confident that I could grow them to profit. But you've got $6,000 drawdown, so two contracts comfortably, and you've got $1,000 spare compared to the $2,500 you get with one 50k account from Apex. So that's my plan for the year, not to blow any accounts and to slowly add, and to have 35 accounts by the end of the year. That would be nice. That would be a nice, might treat yourself then at Christmas to a nice expensive bottle of whiskey. We'll see how we get on. So, are we moving back into this range? We could do. My guess is, seeing those orders up here, my guess is it's going to push up, but it is looking rather unlikely. So, channel with an overshoot, so that may be the push up, but there are more sellers above price than buyers below at the moment, but as we are ranging, aggressive sellers might just decide to continue down. But there, I'm going to say there's a failure there. There actually isn't, because we've not broken higher until there. So, but you know, as for playing out, we got a spike and channel. You can clearly see there's a break there. 2 pushes up to a new high, and that seemed to be slowly coming down. See if we react here. We have had a few reactions here. You can see this is where price opened last night, yesterday afternoon. Who have I missed? Armanas, how you doing, pal? Anybody else? S2G, I think I've said hello to you. That's it, I think. Nice to have Karina back with us today. She keeps us all on the straight and narrow, as they say in the UK here. Makes us behave ourselves. I kind of imagine Karina stood in the corner of this room with a whip. So if I do something stupid, I'm going to get a crack across the knuckles with it. Probably sounds a bit weird, that, but there you go. That's how my mind works. So it does look like price is coming down here. See, it is ranging, so there's certainly a good chance. Before I decide to go short, I like to push above previous highs like we did there. We push below. So often the market, as we know, it sweeps liquidity before it moves again, and you can clearly see any liquidity at the overnight highs were cleared, and then we had a nice strong bull bar followed by an even better bull bar, and then a really nice failure, clearly trapping shorts. I would prefer that a little higher, but as you can see what's going on, previous liquidity sweep and so on, but you can clearly see it worked nice and strongly, no issues. It was a little bit slow, but that's pre-market for you. So if you do take trades pre-market, you've got to be prepared to sit around for a few more minutes. So love you guys. Nice to have some people to trade with, isn't it? Does make life a lot less stressful. You know, is there something like that? Possibly. Es posible. It's about as far as my Spanish goes. Okay, so we got a move down with a pull back to the EMA and a bearish bar. Now, would I short here? I'm not sure. So liquidity wise, there's a little bit above 92.5, which is still quite a fair way away. And there's some at 95. Now, is it going to pull back? We've gone past the EMA, so my guess is there is technically a second entry short there because there's the new low. I would prefer to wait for a lower high. Trouble is, it's around the middle. Now, with a channel with a range this big, with a decent setup, I wouldn't mind. But you've still got to be a bit careful. So that to me, so there is second entry short possible failure there. Is this going to push up? There are a few orders up here. I would guess not. I could be wrong. So I certainly wouldn't take that. Technically, by the count, it's a second entry short, but that to me is really one move up. So I would prefer something else. I would have liked to have triggered that bull bar there, that higher low, but we didn't get it. If you did take that, I think you certainly got a couple of points out of it. It's probably going to come down some more. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, by the count, it's a second entry short, but I've seen them fail before, so I much prefer the lower high. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. It would have been nicer to trigger above there. Trouble is, when you push down, you've not got much room left to the lows, so then it might decide to come back. So, yeah, well, look, I'm just looking at aggressive sellers here because that's what's going to push price down here. Little bit of a range here, I think. So we could push up here. A leg and a leg. Finding a bit, yeah, it's coming down, isn't it? It's clearly ranging, see, so isn't it? But I would prefer it to pull up here. So maybe somewhere along those lines. That's what I'd be looking for, really. I wouldn't get any. It's gone too far down. It may just drop, but I'd like to get a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a range with a breakout, hopefully that fails. But this to me looking like it's just coming down, so that's irrelevant now. So it's, as far as ranges go, it's a very neat range. It's bouncing pretty much within a tick or two of the same place, and same along here as well. So that's okay. So buyers down here. Where do I expect buyers? There's buyers at 75, which is just off the bottom, which is a good sign. There are buyers at 70, not as many, but that is just below price. So it looks to me like traders are selling here and buying here, which is in keeping with this range. So we've had what looks like two legs down. I wouldn't buy it myself personally. It's too far off the bottom. So we may have a little pullback, but I still think this is likely to come down a little bit further. We'll see. I haven't taken a trade on the all chart for a while now. There was a failure here. Second entry long triggered and failed. Trouble is, there's a bit of support along there, so I left it. You can see it's kind of ranging there. You can kind of see that support there. we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 little touches. So although it was a second entry long stroke failure, there's just not much room to the lows. I go for 10 ticks on here. So if I'd have got in there, it would have to get right down to there, plus an extra tick to cut through. So it probably would have worked, but I think that's too low, short and into the lows there. It's just in the wrong place, really. Okay, so little pullback, which I expected. I still think this is going to go down. Buy in here. That high off the bottom is risky as hell to me. So my guess is it may trap some longs here and then drop down. We're nowhere near the bottoms in relative terms. We're a good point and a half off the bottoms and considerably more off the lows. So I think this will come down further. I'm going to adjust that ever so slightly and pull that a little bit closer. That's better. So I'd like a little break here. Trouble is there's not a huge amount of sellers up here. See, that bounce there cleared previous liquidity. We haven't as yet. Now that would be a second entry short. We've bounced a couple of times off here. How do I feel about that? I don't think it's a terrible trade, actually. It's not going to finish. I prefer it. Okay. I prefer to get a break. So we got buyers down there, which is good, below price. So if we can get a second entry short, I don't think we're going to. I can't see that pushing higher than that, to be honest with you. Unless this pushes above that, it may do. There is a second entry short there. I'm going to wait for the lower high here. That bar there, it is working. That bar there, I much prefer that to drop below and be a higher low, and it hasn't triggered above it. So I'm going to wait for the lower high there. It's not really stopping anything out there. And that bar there, it's not broke off the bottom, so it's just a little bit weak for me. I like it when we're trapping longs here, and we're not really. So that wouldn't have worked for me. It would have fallen short by 3 ticks. So good leave for me there. You'd have got 2 points at a push there, I think. Maybe not, maybe. So although it was a second entry short, it's not a terrible one. It certainly worked for a scalp bull market. I'd say so, yeah. But I just wanted something a little better. We're not trapping longs here. It came down and didn't really hit any stops. If you got a higher low here, strong higher low, and it triggers, when it comes down, you're likely to hit more stops there, and I think that'll. So I still think it'll come down. Now you've got a higher low there. See that big bull bar? It's broken below there and pushed up. It's triggered it by 1 tick. So I believe now price will come down below that big bull bar there, because that's broke below and pushed up. So there'll be traders going long there, which in my opinion is a mistake. We've got 2 legs up. It's just 21 ticks. I'm sitting tight. But I think it'll stop that out, and when it does, it'll come down and stop that out as well. It is a little congested. But I'm just sitting tight here. See if we trap another bull bar here. You got lucky it was good for 8 ticks. Yeah. I think Mac will probably mark it. It's good for a scalp. It's much nicer to trap a higher low there because you're going to have buyers. See how it's triggered by a tick and pulled down? We didn't really have it here. That bar there, it just wasn't great and it didn't trigger. If that was a nice higher low and it triggered, in my opinion, then that would probably come down. So, and now it's just getting a little bit sideways. So I'm just sitting tight here. When it goes sideways, it gets trappy. And there we go. So if you'd have gotten to a short there, that one wouldn't work. Even this one, the lower high, well, it's not a lower high on this bar, but there is 2 legs up there, but you go in short into support. You can see how many times this has bounced here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, big strong bar. I like the fact that it's triggered it, but then you go in short into support, which you just can't do really. It'll get you in trouble. Don't need that there now. Let me just move this out. So So it's bouncing at around about 50% of the move. Is it gonna come back down or is it gonna push up? There is a higher low off the bottom. If it triggers that and comes down, my guess is it may find its way down, but I wouldn't want to be going long there, regardless whether it works. It's trading right in that middle, and we haven't made the lows yet, so I think that's risky. We have cleared any previous liquidity there, so if we get a lower high here, I would take this. I don't think that's a terrible trade, but it's above that EMA at the moment, and it may backfire. So the safest option is to wait for the lower high below that EMA, and then I believe it'll take out any stops there. I think what I try and think is, are other traders going to take this? And around the middle, it's always riskier. If it gets below the EMA, then I think it's a better chance of coming down. But that's what I mean. If you get into that, if you took that there, it triggered you, stopped you out. If you wait for the lower high below the EMA, then there's a good chance this is going to come down. So I just try and think, the more traders you've got trading at a certain area, the more chance you've got of winning that trade. And although that looks like a little fail breakout, it is ranging. And there is some strong areas of buying here, there, and possibly there. So if there's enough traders propping this thing up, it may not push through the bottoms there, but there would have been a lot of stops there. But, you know, I bet there'd have been inexperienced traders getting in there and possibly there. But these are trades I would have taken myself in the past. 2 legs up, that big bear bar, I'd have jumped all over that in the past, but I leave it now because I can see, I have this thing in my head, taking a trade, look left, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars that have bounced there. Do I really want to risk it and go short into there? And if I'd have done it, triggers me, pushes up, stops me out. And if I'd have gone, oh, they are, fail breakout there. We've already tried to go below there and we couldn't, and now price is moving up. So what I don't want to be doing is going short here again. So for me, it's a little bit congested and I think that's risky. Now, if there's enough sellers here to push price below there, that'll push below the EMA. You may get a lower high, in which case I may have had a go at it, but it's just too risky. I was expecting that area to be broken because as far as a range is, we didn't get down to the bottom. Sometimes it's how it happens, but you can clearly see we tried to multiple times. Was a few traders that took that. I don't think it was a terrible setup. I did expect it to work, that, although I don't know, why didn't I take that? It is a second entry short. It's just something about it I don't like. It's a little bit boxy there. See what I mean? It's just a little bit square. Now, I see this all the time and say it all the time, up, across, and up. So taking a short there, we could have pushed a bit higher. We did. You'd have got a couple of points out of it, but we see that all the time, up, across, and up. It's just like two legs, up, pull back, and up. So I just left that. It's just something about it. If that had been a higher low, if that bar would have broken below here and we'd have triggered above it and that would have finished on its high, then yeah, I would have had a go at it. But we're not really trapping any bulls here, see? We did trap some bulls here on the left chart and we triggered it, came down, pulled back, but then we stopped them out by a tick and then it took off. So, so are we going to pull back in here now? That's why I don't like trading these types of days, unless we get something like that, where it clears liquidity. And it has done there, but the trouble is, I'm looking at a little micro up there, so what I don't want to do is jump in short and it triggers it, pushes up, makes a new high. And it would have, well, actually didn't trigger, did it? No, it didn't. So channel break, new high by a tick, cleared previous liquidity. So we've got yesterday's highs up here. Should have a line up here for all-time highs. It's about here. So a few more ticks and we'll have broke yesterday's highs. There we go. So overnight highs broken and yesterday's highs broken. So I dare say there'll probably be some profit taken there. It's hard to say. Let me just flick onto let me just all-time highs. Okay, I see it. Yeah, so all-time highs are about 30. I thought they were a little higher than that, but from what I can see here, there, that's all-time highs there. So maybe yeah, 29 and a quarter-ish, somewhere around about there. Just lock that and extend it right. Okay, so yeah, just above 29 all-time highs, so plenty to go yet. Let's put something up here. About there, roughly. So, channel break, new high, a little bit of profit taken. I think you'd expect that. But there are sellers up here, and there are sellers about 775 as well, which is around about there. If you're going to short this back into the range, you'd think you'd do it there and not wait for it to get higher. It's cleared overnight highs and yesterday's highs, unless there's something else close to here. I know there isn't. So if this is going to fail and come back in, I'd expect it to do it here. But we bounced a few times here. We bounced once, twice, pulled back and bounced again. Strong buyers here. So there may be buyers buying down here trying to ride this up if they think it's going higher. We didn't get quite to the bottom. That area was kind of being protected, I think, by buyers here. So there may have been traders added on there. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing does start to move up, because we've had clear few attempts to push lower. So based on that, I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if we continued on up for a bit. And based on what I can see up here with Bookmap, that would kind of make sense. So whether we get somewhere along those lines, let's just clear that so it's an area of interest. So touches there, touches there. So that is just a rough stab in the dark, call it that. It's a rough guesstimate. So small channel break, new high. We've had a couple of, look like we're testing the top a few times there. We've got a little bit lower there. So So we got a little micro there with a break and a new low. This looks like a higher low. I'm sitting tight here at the moment because although I've got that channel drawn, that is just a rough guess of to where it may go. It's not been confirmed, so I would leave this alone. And not only that, we got a channel break. We may get two legs down here, so I'm going to do that there. That looks okay to me, that does. So we've got a break on this chart, a couple of bounces here, and a continuation we could do. As we know, we got sellers up here, and I are still around about there as well. So two pushes back, testing the top of this. Bounce, bounce, and continuation up. It's lost momentum there. It couldn't get down there. There's some strong buy-in there. We came back and tried to test it. We had 1, 2, 3 bounces, and it couldn't take it. So my guess is this is going to push higher. Now, there are some buyers at 95, which is just below here. So if you bought there, my guess is it'll push down, clear any liquidity there, get close to that EMA, give us two legs down, and then hopefully I'm going to see some rejection here going long. We'll see. we're clearly finding 1, 2, 3 resistance here. I would prefer price just to go below there. That's triggered that bar there. It's a tick off a doji. It's weak, I think, and that's weak. So I'd like just a quick push down. It may hold, but for me, I wouldn't want to be interested until it got to those. In fact, a lot of those buyers are gone, I think, haven't they? We'll see. So, second entry long. Not for me. It's a little bit congested here, so I'm just sitting tight. May work, but I think those two buy bars there are too far off that EMA. I don't think entries there are strong enough to push price up. It may well do, but I think those entries are quite weak, and often those weak entries go, so we come down, across, and down. My guess is we're going to come below that bar there, that line there, sorry. So that one's gone. It'll come down a bit lower as well. They're weak. They're off that EMA. They're floating in the middle of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. You may argue that's a triple test. I still like price to come down a little bit further, but it may hold. Okay. So came down, stopped out that bar, triggered the short and pushed up super strong. Look at that. I was hoping it was going to do that once it got below there. Can't take that though. It's too late then. We're already at the highs. And here, the higher low here. Yeah, it's a higher low, but look at it. It's clearly congested. You can't take that. It's clearly congested. The fact that it worked is irrelevant. It's clearly congested. I don't think anybody will have taken that, to be honest with you. So, actually, if I bring that like that, that looks better. So, you can see all these sellers up here. Sellers at 5, sellers at 7.5, sellers at 10. That's going to drag price up. It may have a small pullback in the meantime, but my guess is it'll hit that one, all three of those, and that would kind of be the second leg up. We had every opportunity to fail and come back in this range, and it didn't do it. There is a higher low there. It's way too late to trade that long. I wouldn't be surprised if it triggered and continued up, though, to be fair, but I'm not taking that. But as I say, if it triggers, I wouldn't be shocked if it just kept pushing up. So, those sellers, that's gone. I still don't think they're strong enough to push price down. Most of them are up here. This is messy, isn't it? On the CL chart. Chop, 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 chop. proper messy. Having said that, we have had a little breakout that failed here, so I'd expect one at the top. So we've had a channel there with a break. There is a break and a new high in one go, but I'd still expect this to push up and get that same kind of move. Ben, how you doing, buddy? I wish this would speed up a bit. So you can see all those sad orders, 6, 8, and 10. There's a 6. There's 8. And there's 10. Okay, any liquidity there now is gone. Let's see what happens. So let's bin that. Is this failing or is this going to push back out? We've definitely cleared liquidity, so if it's going to push back out, it'll do it now. I'm not super convinced though. Well, I never expected that. I did ask it to speed up, yeah. Unfortunately, in the wrong direction. I was expecting to continue up. I thought it would anyway, but there we go. Okay, so it looks like this breakout is failing. So a second entry short test in the top, 2 legs up, may give us a second leg down. We'll say we can only hope. Break below that. There we go. Now push up a little bit. We've cleared any liquidity there, and the thing is still pushing down, which is good news. Come on, push back up. What I like is there's a really big bull bar here. If we can get a higher low here and trigger above it, that'll give us some beautiful stops here and here. I just don't think it's going to. Higher low here, trigger it, push up, touch the EMA and start to reverse. It'd be beautiful. Come on, push up. Come on, come on. There is a lower high there. It's just too far from that EMA. It just could backfire on you. Come on, push. Come on, push up. Right, I'm going to get a set order up here just in case something happens. There are some buyers there at 87. Let's say 87.50, which is at the lows there. Now, reverse. Come on.
Order cancelled.
Not what I expected. I thought we were going to get some, test this underside and maybe get a second leg down. This thing wants to go higher, I think. Or does it? You can have a load of stops down here, but for me, this has got to get lower before I decide to go short. So here's something interesting. I mentioned this. We had a push up here. My guess was going to break out the top. Now that is 2 legs up there. I wouldn't take that short because I've been stung on those before. We've had a break out the bottom of this range. Now you may say, well, we have already, but for me, this is a range. We've had a break out the bottom. My guess is we'll do a break out the top as well, in which case, if you did short that, it may not work. So my guess is this is where we're going to end up. I was kind of hoping we'd get a bear bar there to trigger and push up. It's a doji, but as we've had a breakout here, we almost always get one. So I always avoid a short here, even though we've got 2 legs up and it may work. I can't tell how many times I've been caught out on trays like that, 2 legs up, and I've missed the fact that we've had this. And often it'll go into this area and then fail, so it'll let you stop and then come down anyway. So it's a bit frustrating, really, but I'll see if that works anyway. So, is this bouncing here? It may be. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. Let's kill the colour. So it's an area of interest. Well, it does seem to be pushing off there, doesn't it? It's just you can't trade this, though, really. It's looking like it's working. There's just no bar there, and you'd be guessing. Now, if this is the top of the channel, we've pushed off here, and we haven't got anywhere near the top, so I certainly wouldn't trust that to go up again. So I don't know what's working here. Maybe we've had this pull in, and we're having one attempt to push higher, a second attempt, then it's going to fail. I've got no idea. This is hard today, this is. No, I don't like that. Finally got my Guardian Angel trader to work. So I'm protected should the worst happen. I don't pretty much revenge trade anymore. I'm more or less giving it up. I still like to have it as a little bit of an emergency, just in case. You never quite know, do you? So there is a second entry long there. Trouble is, unless you took on the engulfing, it's an engulfing bar itself, so you can't really take it. It's 21 ticks. It is a high low, but it's much better when you're trapping traders, and any traders there possibly have already gone, so it's too risky taking an engulfing candle like that, unless you take it off the engulfing bar. So idea your profit goes here, which there's no reason you would specifically. I don't know where price is going. I don't know whether they are moving up or whether it's at the moment really we're just kind of chopping back and forth. So Thomas Way's got that. I just tried it. It's not for me at the moment, but I don't think it's terrible. So yeah, it's just, that's all it's doing at the moment. So it's hard to trade that. You don't know whether it's bouncing a couple of times and it's going to take off, or whether it's going to pull back into the meat of this range or not. It's hard to say. So we've pulled back into the range, and then we've had 2 attempts to push higher. We do know we've got sellers there and a touch higher as well at 10. We've had those there for a while, so it is reaching towards those. But is it now starting to look more like a channel? Doesn't look terrible, does it? It's fitting a couple of times there. It's not perfect there, but it's close enough. So, I mean, if we end up pushing further to the top and pulling back, then yeah, I'd say so. But we could have this move up, 2 attempts to go lower. So it may well go up, but it's not super clear at the moment. So just for now, I'm going to bin it. Slow down again. Come on, speed up. I did come back last night for a bit, but there was nothing I really saw, I don't think. That one I looked at, but I left it in the end. I think Thomas Wade took that one. Kind of a channel with a break new low, but it's not very clear. It's a bit choppy for me. You can clearly see it side by side. There's the first entry. There's a second entry. So it is a second entry long that triggered, and you got a higher low here, but it's a bit too congested for me. So I left it in the end, but Thomas Wade took it. There is a bit of a channel going on there, but high low is a better option. It's not a great higher low, but it did work nonetheless. Apart from that, there was nothing I saw. I looked at that one, that did work, but there was a couple who tried to take it who couldn't get in anyway. So, but apart from that, there's nothing really, is there? Speedy, how you doing, my friend? No, how you doing? Thomas Wade announced his trades just in time on the Discord channel. Does Thomas Wade announce his trades? Yes, he does, bud. If he takes a trade, most of the time, he'll mark it. Let's see if we can find the trade he took last night. Yeah, that was it there. There we go. That's the one I just mentioned he took. So it's a second entry long. There's the first entry. It is a higher low. That bar didn't take, and it did work. I think the one thing that frustrates me about Thomas Wade is a lot of times he'll wait for his runner to get up here and then come all the way back and stop him out. I can't tell you how many times I've seen him lose sort of 6 or 8 points. You got to kind of follow it, I think, ain't you? But anyway, that's the trade he took. So yeah, when he takes a trade, most of the time he'll mark it as you know, as long as he's got time. Where did it go in the end? Did it continue up? I can't remember now, but he does, yeah. Let's have a look at it. Where was it? There, that was it. So, why did it go up off his what's it? So, I don't know, maybe he brought his stop up, but otherwise it came down. But I can't tell how many times I see it go up here and then come back out and take him out for break even. And he trades 2 contracts on it as well. So if it goes up 5 points, that's $500 you potentially give him back. You know, I understand trying to capture a great big move, but you don't often get that. So a lot of the times you may be losing 6 or 8 points. You'd lose that 2 or 3 times. You know, you've got to make 20 points just to get that back. So for me, I'd rather, you know, try and just get double. You know, if I'm going for 3 points, I'd rather just try and get 6. But I think for me personally, I believe Mac follows it up as well. It's great if you can get these big moves, but it doesn't kind of often work, really. You do see these big moves, but often, you know, they just turn and go. I ask you where custom these tools up here, these are from Mac's website. I downloaded these 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, you've got them all there anyway, but it is useful just to have them there. So yeah, they are available. If you trade Pats, you can download them. It's just cool. I'll show you. It's Max BP2, I think. So it's that one there, I think. Oh no, tell a lie. Pat's toolbar, that one there. That one there. So it just makes things a little bit quicker. So are we bouncing here and likely to go up? I can still see sellers up there. You could copy some of his trades with a better stop management. I'm not sure what you mean there, bud. Do you know what? When you say copy some of his trades, I've done that in the past. If someone's taken a trade, when I've been a little bit less experienced, I've taken a trade, and I saw 3 people take a trade. This was maybe a year and a half ago. I saw Thomas Wade. Who else was it? Thomas Wade, Taylor, and someone else. They all took a trade. I can't remember whether it was a short or long. To me, it was a bit congested, so I left it. I saw 3 people take it, so I decided to get in when it pulled back. It ended up getting stopped out. So I take less trades than Thomas Wade, but he takes more losses than I do. So I've just found out over time, don't ever copy anybody. Use other people for a reference, but always make your own decision. There's nothing more frustrating than seeing someone else take a trade, you take it and it loses. So I think that's what you meant, didn't you? 10 points ahead, you can adjust your stop accordingly. Yeah, I mean, he takes, I think, does he go for 8 or 10 contracts? So I think he trades I think he used to trade one contract, or he'd have 8, I think. So he'd scalp 7. And Thomas Wade's like me. He goes for about 3 points, I think. Somewhere between 2 and 3 points, depending on the ATR. ATR now will be going for 3 points usually. So it makes a reasonable amount on there. But I'm not a fan of runners. I like to just get in and out. And I only trade one contract, so it's a little bit more tricky for me to do it. I'd have to move on to micros and split it up that way. But I like to just get in and out. It just suits my personality, because sometimes when you see it go up a bit and then it comes back. That annoys me. That does. So I just prefer just to have a fixed amount and get in and out. I've learned trying to truly copy someone's trade. You always end up taking their. Yeah, you do. Yeah, I can't tell you enough. You learn. It's gone a bit faded out, hasn't it? You learn much better taking your own trades, because that's how you learn. You take trades and you lose, and that's how you learn. Because once you've taken a few setups that look the same, I don't know why that's faded out there. Once you take a bunch of trades, and you learn where things go wrong, that's how you. It sounds great in theory, but I've done it before. I've done it a couple of times. Do you remember the guy that used to come in the stream maybe 2.5 years ago? A guy from the UK. I forget his name. Do you remember he was going, I'd go short here, I'd go short here, and he was getting it right every time. He got it right 8 or 9 times in a row, and he made some good points. So the one time I decided to copy him, it started coming back towards me stop. So I moved me stop, and I ended up blowing my account. So if you copy someone and you lose, that hurts me more. That frustrates me more. So you are going to lose trades when you're learning. It's a fact of life. It's what happens, but it's how you learn. You know, we've all heard the phrase a million times, you learn by your mistakes, and it's an absolute fact. You'll become a much better trader learning yourself. And not only that, if the guy you're copying all of a sudden decides to not stream anymore or whatever, you're screwed. But use me for guidance. How I'm marking my trade. If you're not sure about, how I'm marking, my charts, it might help you make, better decisions. Sometimes 2 heads are better than 1, but I wouldn't copy what I do. You'll be sat here for weeks anyway, because I hardly take any trades, but you're much better to do it yourself. I would have disagreed with that 2 years ago, because I'd have done anything to copy someone else's trades, but I just wanted to offload the responsibility onto someone else, but you never learn. Push up past the highs, we probably have a wider channel. Yeah, I had that a little bit earlier and then kind of removed it. I think I've had it a couple of times, but it does look, for me, it started to go a bit more rangy, so I binned it. But yeah, I mean, if we can get up here somewhere, then I'll probably put it back. But it is kind of starting to look like it. Yeah, if you sat here waiting to copy me, you're probably going to take 3 trades a month the way I'm going at the moment. But no, you do learn much better. You'll make a better trader learning yourself. So we've got a channel down here with 2 pushes up, bearish bar. It's above that EMA. At the moment, it's choppy, so I don't know whether it's going to come down and test this line or whether it's going to push up. We are bouncing in kind of, you can see there's kind of a line there, and it does more or less map up with there. So there is a possibility that this just could be starting to go sideways before it pushes up. So it is starting to look like it may be working up. It's clearly holding here, isn't it? So you can see it's definitely following something, isn't it? So there's no guarantees, but if we get up here and then start to work down, I'll put it back. But that's certainly a good possibility anyway. What have you done? Start with the close of the red pin bar. You on about that one there, are you? Yeah. Yeah, it could be a smaller one. That looks okay as well, doesn't it? In fact, I would probably even do that. Maybe catch the bottom of these, unless that's the pin by. I'm guessing you meant that one, did you? But if I put it there and bring that down a touch, that actually fits along the top better as well, doesn't it? So touch, 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 and work it up nice. So yeah, maybe that's. Yeah. And who knows, if we get up here and come back, there may be something larger later on in the day, but yeah, that's looking promising. Let's have a look. So there is a failure there. Trouble is, there's a signal bar. So if you're short there, you've already been stopped out, so I wouldn't use that as my failure. Second entry short, possible failure. Although it looks like it's working there, we may just decide to drop out and clear some of these. So I wouldn't get in here just at the moment, but it is starting to look promising, that, isn't it? But we've got a channel down here with a break, so it could come down and test this line again. You don't take the 2002. Yeah, he does take a fair amount of losses, Thomas Wade, but he's not frightened to take a trade for fear of a loss. Which I like that. It's a good attitude, that is. I wish I could take losses with ease like he does. I still don't enjoy losses. I don't think anybody ever really likes them, but they don't damage me like they used to. But I have my Guardian Angel set to one trade or one loss, and I'm done anyway. So I just feel, personally, I operate better with just taking one trade a day. But, you know, compared to what I used to be like, I certainly wouldn't revenge trade now, but sometimes I would think maybe I'll sit around and take another trade, but I feel I operate at my best with just one trade a day. And the way price action the markets are nowadays, one trade a day, if I could get one trade a day, I'll be over the moon, and there just isn't that many setups around at the moment. So I'm not cutting myself short by only allowing myself one trade a day. So it did what I expected it to do, clear out some of this. Now there is a channel down there with the break. Is it going to come down and break below there? It may do, but it may hold there. I'm not so sure at the moment, but you know, although that does look kind of like it's working up, it's still very much just up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's hard to know whether that's going to pan out. Yeah, Thomas Wade's got it. Just seems sideways at the moment. It is. It's hard to half the battle is getting the direction right at the moment. Goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. So you took the channel off. Doesn't seem valid now. It was trying to hold, wasn't it? I mean, there could be a break, but then two moves up, two legs down, and a break. It kind of I don't even know whether that would work, would it? Well, it doesn't look terrible, but this is more choppy now, isn't it? So it was looking promising for a minute, especially the way it was riding up that line like that. Losers are for losers. I got to say, I take less trades. My win rate at the moment is about 93%. That's purely because I am very selective in me trades. The downside to that is you take less trades. But what I found with Pats is when you take your losses, you always lose a bit more. So I think sometimes you're better off to not take a trade unless it's a really solid, obvious one. If it's a really great setup, they rarely fail. I can't tell you the last time I saw a great trade and I just could not understand for the life of me why it didn't work. They just work. Great setups work. and comfortably for 3 points and some. And you'll usually find when you get good setups, they usually just take off. That one I took the other morning, that was a good setup. Not the other morning, it was a second entry short. I forget when it was now. Excuse me, we've got a channel with a break, 2 pushes to an ULO. That's the one I took. I thought that was a really nice set. I'm pretty sure it was that one. It might have looked a bit better. So I think it was that one I took. We've got a channel up there with a break, 2 pushes to a new high, strong move below the EMA. There's a higher low there. Well, it looked a bit better the other day. I'm pretty sure that was the one, but look how it just works. I think it was that one. I can't remember. I got a photo of it somewhere. So good setups just work. So there is a possible second entry long, but you're going long into the EMA, and yes, it's choppy, and we've got 2 legs down, but you don't know if it's going to come down any lower. The bar looks a bit better on here, but I'm just sitting out. It's just weaving up and down at the moment. You don't know where it's going to turn. See if I can find that. Was it that one? No, that was a while back, I think. That was the trade. I think that was an absolute beauty. Channel up, break, new high, 2 clear legs up, leg down with a break. That's just a lovely trade. Trades like that just don't fail. You can see how clear it is, and we basically come down, then we come down a bit, have a little pullback and come down again to the bottoms. But that, I would jump all over that. If I see trades like that, I usually just hit the sell button, because a lot of the times you won't get in there. But it's a really nice second entry short. It's a second entry short, lower high, and a failure all in one. But trades like that just don't fail. I mean, look at that. You're down, whatever it was, 4.5 points in one bar, but it crossed up, it ticked back and came straight down like that. But you can see how many traders enter there by how clean it just works and how well it comes down. So I'll take trades like that all day long. You don't see a huge amount of them. But when I do see them, I don't waste my time sometimes right clicking and open it. I just hit the sell button, because I figure it's worth it. I don't think it works on a picture, Bud, does it? I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it works on a picture. There is a failure here. My only issue I have, I'm guessing it's probably going to stop that out, but look how many times it did work. So second entry long failure, but it never triggered on the first bar, but you may not have even got a chance to get in there. It worked that quick. But as we've bounced 3 times here, I wouldn't be going short into that, because you can clearly see there is some support, although it worked. So let me just move this over now. Does look like we're ranging now. Again. So, we're kind of arranging here, aren't we? We don't get to the bottom, we push out the top and then go into this. So Thomas Wade's looking at the CL chart as well. There. Same. He's got exactly the same, actually. So I didn't realise he was doing that. Okay, I'm just going to take a bathroom break. I'll be just one quick minute. So, what have we got up here seller-wise? Our seller's up there. It's just over 7.5, which is there. And there at 10. We're struggling to get up there, so whether we will. So left chart, possible second entry short. I wouldn't take it because we've just come off the bottoms. Higher low, I wouldn't take that either because we're below the EMA. So this could push up for a second leg or it could come back down. Who knows? There's always a possibility that there may be something like that. Doesn't look terrible. So it could come down or it could push up, stop out some of these. So for now, I'm just going to leave that alone. Let's get rid of that now. I don't think we need it. So there is a second entry short there. Trouble is, we've just bounced off the lows. Now, it may well come down, but I'm going to leave that. If there is something like this, then it may not look terrible. But I'm going to leave this. We've just literally touched there. 1, 2, 3, we had 3 bounces. Now, granted, liquidity-wise, but is there going to be many buyers there? So, as we've just popped off there, off the bottom, I'm going to avoid this. It's not a tiny bar either, it's 14 ticks. It may work, but as we've just pushed up, I'm just going to stay out of this. So there are buyers around about the 885. There. Now, all of a sudden, these are looking precarious now, so so how far did it come down? Not far. So it came down about 1.5. You'd have squeezed 1.5 out of it. You've got to have half a tick to push through. So now all of a sudden this is pushing up. So there's going to be stops there. Now it may not get up there. It may turn and pull back down. But let's see, I made the right decision to leave that. It's just because we've come off the bottom. If we hadn't hit the bottom, then it might be a different story. Now, there are buyers down here, which is a good indicator. Price moves towards liquidity, as we know. So we'll see. Now, there would be a lower high, but I'm not going short here. Still not a massive fan of this. Danger of drawing wider channels. Yeah, it's not so much the channel that's making me think about the possible short. It's because we've bounced off support. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 perfect touches there. We push straight down, 1 tick, touch it, and reverse immediately. So although I've got down there as a possibility, ordinarily with a channel like that, I'd be taking a short like that, but because of this, I've decided to leave it. It'll probably still work. But we could continue down. You just never know. Because we've been chopping here and then we've pushed up and down here, it could go down. So I usually just draw those if I think it's fitting, but I sort of take it with a pinch of salt, so to speak. So I usually just kill the colour. I bet there'll be some traders taking that. It's not the worst trade in the world, but because of the bottom, in my opinion, it's probably safer to leave it. It did work in the end. Just looking around to see if anybody took it. No, I don't think many did. No, I can't see any. Yeah, I mean, the only reason I put these is I usually put these with a channel and kill the colour, so it's an area of interest, especially if I think it's working. Because there's always a possibility when we do get a neat channel, the thing continues down. So when I kill the colour, for me, it's just what I consider an area of interest, as opposed to what I believe is a sure thing. Yeah, I can't see anyone who took that trade. I can't see. Let's have a look on Thomas's. I don't think Thomas took it. Yeah, I can't see anyone who took it. There'd about been someone, but yeah, that one. Yeah, if it works, Mac will take it. I mean, it is a second entry short. There's no doubt about it. The only reason I left it is because we are ranging at the moment and we have touched and pushed off quite strong, so you just never know. I mean, although I've put a channel there, up until now it's just 2 legs down to here and we're pushing up. Sometimes we'll do this, trap a few traders. It could be a double trap there. There's a long trap there. That could come down, stop that out, push up. So we could have then 2 legs up. So I just put these down here just to see if it's materialising, because it is starting to look like it may be working. But I still not ready to go short yet at the moment, because we are ranging. We've bounced once, bounced twice. I'll have to see what happens here. So if you'd have gone long off the bottom, triggered you, and came down and stopped you out. So that those buy orders, there are more buy orders down here at 85, not a huge amount. Anyone see that top step? No, I didn't watch it. I was aware it was on. It had quite likely been on early hours of the morning here in the UK. I thought Top Step was struggling a bit. I thought they had a few problems. I was chatting to that Cami Capital guy a few months ago. They dropped him, didn't they? He was one of their main affiliates, and they just dropped him. Yeah, I don't doubt it, mate. I have watched it before. When was the last time I watched the Super Bowl? It was Super Bowl 22 back in around about 1986. It was the Chicago Bears, and I think was it the Miami Dolphins? I think it might have been. I was a young teenager then, way back when in the 80s. I'm sure I've watched bits of it before, but it's not as big in the UK, obviously. It's more football over here, football, rugby and cricket over here. Or soccer, or you guys call it. I bet it is, yeah. I bet it is. Kellyanne made a video about him, yeah. Ideally, in a perfect world, you want to try and stay off Kellyanne's radar, don't you? Before you were born, is it really? No, I was a young lad back then. What was I, 14? Something like that. 1980s, middle 80s, 14, 15, probably 15, I think. You're still So I used to watch football in the UK. I went off football. I watch cricket now. Cricket's more my game. You just get too much trouble with football. It's just the football hooligans. There's police everywhere. There's fighting everywhere. It just fries my brain. I much prefer cricket. I know a lot of you US guys probably don't know a lot about cricket, but the thing about cricket, if you watch a test match goes on for about 8 hours a day for up to 5 days. You can just sit there in the sun and relax and have a beer. You don't get police. You don't get trouble. It's just much more relaxing. And when you lose slowly. You kind of know slowly it's going to happen. Whereas, with football, you're up one down the next minute. It's kind of a really emotional game. But I went off football, I did. But yeah, cricket's my game now. Okay, so are we going to reject it or is this going to come down? It is starting to look like a channel. Having said that, I don't think I'm ready to trust it. We'll see. We've pushed below any liquidity there. There is liquidity still down here, of course, but are we going to get a second entry short and is this going to come down? Trouble is, we've had a little breakout of this range and often we'll get one at the top. So, obviously not today. This decided to fly down now. Is that news that's done that? I'm guessing it probably was because I can't see where there was particularly many traders trapped. Maybe there was there. It was just that one bar, so maybe it was trapping traders. Or maybe there was a quick short news announcement. It's hard to say. See, looking on here, I can't see why that would have happened. But on here, bull bar off the bottom. Clearly see. So it may have had a rush below. Unless it was some kind of a news announcement. Maybe it wasn't. Do I eat kippers? I have done, but not for a few years. They are quite bony. Although the bones are quite soft, you kind of just eat it all. But I have done in the past. Yeah, I went for a phase of eating them a bunch of years ago. They're not too bad actually, with a bit of bread and butter. But yeah, I have done. Let's have a look what is going on here. So there's a bearish bar on the left chart which has been triggered, and it looks like it's pushing up. So we have broken below any possible liquidity there, which is, there is a bull bar there, so that might have been why that rushed down. I thought it might have been the news, but usually someone will post one of those little red bars showing that there was news. But the move down, I think it was just probably eating some stops. That's all I think. I haven't got much on this channel, but on this chart. Disco, how you doing, buddy? Okay, so that red bar has triggered. Let's see what happens, whether this pushes up and stops that out or whether it does continue down. Someone else has just got that there now, see, so there could be, I mean, it's looking better and better, isn't it, the longer it holds. On this side, it looks okay. The right side, I've had a bit of a break. The only slight, well, yes, it started to go sideways here, but we've broke below the bottom there, and this thing looks like it wants to come down. So a second entry short, I would probably have a go here. Unfortunately, it's only really a first entry, that, so there's not really much I can do. But we broke below those lows, and it doesn't look like it's in a rush to reverse. Yeah, the only slight concern I have is this. We've got a little micro channel without a new high, so I'm going to bin this now. I don't think we need it at the moment. There's going to be liquidity down here for sure, so a second entry short here, if it was good enough, I would have a go. It's just coming down, isn't it? That's a shame. I thought we may have got a setup there. $10,000 tick chart looks neat, doesn't it? Fit in there really nice. So my guess is we've broken the overnight highs. We've broken previous daily highs. So my guess is we're probably going to target the lows of the days. So overnight lows. It is looking, this is the 10,000 tick chart, so it is looking like it's likely going to target this area. So we'll see what happens. That's given us a bit of an overall picture anyway. So I like this channel now. So there's still a possibility we could get a setup here. So 80 buyers, 75 buyers. The good thing is all the buyers here are below the lows in this channel. So if we got a second entry short up here, there's plenty of space down there. Not much in the way of sellers. I expect some sellers that may appear around here around the kind of early 90s. But I don't see many as yet. There are obviously orders there, but nothing substantial. You have an overshoot. Yeah, I don't think it is. And the reason I say that is I'm looking at the 10,000 tick chart, and that is all fitting really neat. Perfect touch there, perfect touch there, perfect touch there. So I don't think there is, personally. On this chart, if I follow the bottoms, it's fine. There isn't an overshoot there. Here, you may argue possibly, but I think it's negligible, to be honest with you. I've got 3 charts here, 2 the same, 2,000 tick chart and the 10,000 tick chart. The 10,000 tick chart showing no, and the left one showing no. So 2 out of 3. So my guess is I'm okay with the overshoot. If I look at this closely, we got a perfect touch, perfect touch, perfect touch, perfect touch. So for me, that's okay, I think. So we got a little channel with a break. We could get something here if we're lucky. Up, across, and up. Let me just get an order up here, just in case we get
Order
something
submitted.
bearish above this. See if we get a short here. We have got a higher low trap there. I wouldn't want to be going long here. So see if we get a lower high here. Do I think that's a bigger channel? It could be. I'm not so sure though. $15 ticks, a fair size, that is. It hasn't triggered as yet. I mean, that looked like some strong selling, that did then. I actually think that's an okay setup. It's rather large on here. Let's see if we get a lower high. It's closed below the EMA. You've got a big bull bar there. I prefer to take the lower high. Now, whether that is a short-term trend, it could be. So you've got to be a little bit careful here. Just going to leave this one a minute.
Order cancelled.
So second entry short failure. I wouldn't want to be going along either with all this. It could be a double trap there. We could push up and get a break. We'll see. See, small channel with a break. We still could push up here. So we still got to be a bit careful. It may work, but I'm just going to leave this. Oh, it's working. Look. See if we get a failure here. Because we've got a channel here, I've got to be a little bit careful here. See if we get the failure. I have a sneaking feeling we're going to get a break here. And part of the reason I say that is because on the 10,000 tick chart, it's looking like we already have. So this may push above there, which is there. So we'll see. We'll see. So not only that, channel break. I'd like to see a new high. If this ends up bearish, this is going to catch a lot of traders. No, it's not good. My guess is it could push up here. So it's hard to say. On this, I've got no overshoot. On this, you could argue there is. Either way, the 10,000 tick chart doesn't look there's an overshoot, but prices look to me like they're breaking. So my concern is this pushes up above here. Let's see. Should have flushed there. You had a runner, did you? You took the lower high. Yeah, trouble is, for me, we've got a channel up there with a break. We haven't made a new high yet, so I'm always a little bit concerned with that. How far did it come down? It may work, but it wasn't the smallest of bars. Tick below, what did it go down? 1.5. You'd have got 1.25 out of it. It may well come down. There's an inside bar, so you can't really do anything there. This could launch up, or it may come down. I mean, what I will say is we are bouncing along that line, so this is where you're likely going to get sellers anyway. But just looking at that 10,000 tick chart, this to me is looking like it's starting to do this. It may continue down. It may really be nothing, but that small looking break area is concerning me a little. See that bear bar that's triggered? If it pushes up above there, price will get to about 91.75, which is above all that lot, I think, or close to it. 91.75 right at the top. So I'm a bit concerned here, shorting just at the moment. Now, where have we got sellers? Any strong sellers up here? Not as of yet. But there will be stops there on that 10,000 tick chart. You can see that. That's where stops are going to be. Could even be a tick higher. And that would make sense there, wouldn't it? A tick above that. So that one, yeah. So let me have a look. So that will be 91.75 and 91.75 there. It may come down. It's hard to say, but it's enough to make me be a little bit concerned. Excuse me. Jan, how you doing? Long time no speak to. Now, I was going to message you the other day, actually. I was having some problems with my Guardian Angel Trader. I couldn't seem to figure out how to delete a folder. It's still there, but I managed to move it, change the name, and get my Guardian Angel Trader working. How you doing, my friend? Are you back flying, are you? Okay. Are you still trading, or you've stopped, or what? Mind you, you've got a good career, see, haven't you? So, I mean, flying's a great career, isn't it? You know, well paid, good pension, travel. I dare say you get good discounts as well on flights, don't you? So you've got a good career anyway, haven't you? So good for you, mate. But you mainly fly, yeah. That's a good career. You obviously put a lot of time and a lot of effort into learning to do that. So, yeah. Oh, good for you, mate. Good for you. Well, as long as you're happy, that's what counts. Good for you, mate. Good for you. Are we finally finding our way down here? See, my suspicions were we were going to do this. Or at least break this level here, but it does look like, well, 1 minute it looks like it's going to come down, but yeah, I've got 20 Apex accounts and I've got 1 Take Profit Trader. Things have changed for me this year. My mindset has completely changed. I'm not in a rush anymore. I probably take 2 to 3 trades a week lately. I'm not in a rush. I'm quite happy and patient now. I think I've just finally realised the only way to play this game is to sit and wait for something obvious. And then the rest kind of will be. So it's definitely changed this year. This year things will get better for me. But it's taken me a little over 5 years really to finally get that acceptance. But the best way I can describe how I feel when I trade now is I feel at peace with the markets. I'm not fighting them or battling them anymore. I've come to the conclusion that all I can do really is sit here, wait for a good quality setup and take it, nothing more. It's simple when you think about it, but putting that into practice is a lot tougher than you realise. But I've just finally hit that level now where I'm not trying to fight things anymore. I'm just accepting things for what they are. So I expect this year to be my best year yet. Fingers crossed anyway. Let's hope it's a good year for all of us, whether you're trading or whether you're flying. Must be a great career flying though. I've always been interested in planes. It's nice, isn't it, you think? Web page down. I think I will upload all software to T-Hub and make them free open source. That's good of you, mate. That's good of you. I still use your what's it down here. I still use your news. I still like that little bleep I get. I think out of all the bits of software I've got, the bits of add-ons I've got, that is probably the most useful one, mate. That is. You've only got to forget the news once, and that can really wreck you. Can really wreck your accounts. So, but at least you're happy, mate. Anyway, you're doing what you enjoy doing. So, do we agree this is going to have a quick slice up in a minute? Here we go. So there'll be stops there. I don't doubt it. There'll be some lower high traders taking that. We're only a few ticks away. It may hold, but the way things are looking, it's not looking prosperous, is it? We're a tick or two away there. Trouble is, there's a channel up here with a break. We haven't made a new high as of yet, which is why I avoided that. There is a second entry short there with a lower high, but just for that, yeah. So that stop's gone already. So I'd like to say it's going to push up there as well, because that would have been the original second entry short. But because of the micro channel, there we go. So now let's see what happens. I would like to say this is probably going to come down. But I think the way it's acting, I think I would prefer the lower high. Channel break, new high. It actually is a second entry short there by the count. Let me have a look. It's very tempting, that is. It's quite large, though. I think that will probably work. You've certainly got a strong bull bar there, which is triggered, but it hasn't got far to do to it, the stop. There's probably going to be stops down here and here, certainly down here and down here. So for me, the lower high would be the better option. It's a large bar. I would prefer the lower high. You took it, did you, bud? I know it was a terrible trade. Partly because the size of it. The only slight concern I have is we've broken below that bar already and it hasn't done what I expected it to. So I do think it'll work. But because of the size of it, I would prefer the lower high, just in case. Now I want to see this bull bar trigger. Yes, just that's the trouble. See, what you got to think about here is it's congested. We've not made a measured move. A lot of the times we'll have two pushes. You just don't, yeah, I know. A lot of this will come in time. Something just won't feel right. We've not made two measured legs. Look on Bookmap as well. There are orders up here and orders up here. Wherever there's orders up high, I always just be a little bit careful. Those orders are a little bit higher than I expected. So, break from a channel, and then we ended up going sideways. We pushed up strong, then pulled down strong. So it's a little bit choppy and a bit congested here. So it's part of the reason why I left it. If it doesn't feel right, leave it. You can clearly see it's choppy. And I'm going short right into this. Look how much support there is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars. 8 bars if you look at that. Just keep in mind to yourself when you take a trade, just get a little sheet of paper by your desk and just say, taking a trade, look left. Now I'm shortening to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bars. You may even include that. There's a strong high or low there. So I wouldn't be shorting into there, which is why I would prefer the lower high. The lower high stops you getting triggered and stopped out for the second time. A lot of the time, my gut feeling is this will still come back. But because of that congestion there, you're better off waiting for it. So I want to push down, small pullback, and then I want to see price move down again for a lower high. That way it stops kind of that happening. But it is frustrating, I know, mate, but Don't worry about it. Don't worry about losing those trades. You'll lose it a few times, and then the next time we get that picture again, you'll go, oh, look at all that support. I'll leave this, and then it would have triggered you and gone out, yeah. So 2 reasons I left that. 1, the size of the bar. 2, you shorten into support. 3, it's congested. So I know what it's like. The eagerness to want to take a trade, it's hard. You've got that little voice saying, go on, take a trade. Look, you're going to miss it. But don't worry about taking it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about taking a trade and losing it. It's how you learn. So we've pushed up, cleared any stops there. We've had more or less a measured move. We've cleared out liquidity there. If we get a decent lower high here, then I may have a go. So look at this. We're getting some real rejection here. Look at that. So my guess is I still believe this will go down, but I want some sort of... I think what it is over time, if something doesn't feel right, you'll eventually go, I've been here before, so you took that trade, you got triggered, stopped out. Next time you see this kind of picture here again, something in the back of your mind will go, ooh, I've been here before. And when you start remembering that, you start leaving trades, you start reducing your losses, and you start making better decisions. But it doesn't come overnight. It takes time. So I still think this will come down. And unfortunately, a lot of the times it'll do that. You'll be thinking this is going down. You'll decide to take a short. It'll trigger you, stop you out, and then go in the same damn direction that you expected. That's a frustrating thing about. That's what I mentioned to you yesterday. Keep your losses minimal, because the pain will be less. If you're risking lots of money and lots of accounts, every time you're blowing it, it's costing you money, and that will just make things way more miserable. Trust me, take my word for it. There's not many people that have chucked away as much as I have in this business. I'll tell you that for certain. I've been really ridiculously stupid, so learn from my mistakes. But that could have well worked. But the fact that there is support there, it's making it a little bit more difficult to get through there. You're playing one account. That's okay. Your pain's going to be minimal. If you had 5 accounts on there, that would have hurt a lot more. So that's your best way. But this markets are very clever at making your life miserable. You've just got to try and outsmart them. Wilson, what are you doing, lad? But I'd get yourself one of these as well. 10,000 tick chart. Can you see what's happening there? We come down and we're starting to go this way. We're coming away from the bottom, so that tells me we're likely to have a break here. And look at that bar there. Look at that bar there. What's happening? It's all sideways. It's a little more obvious here, so that's the trouble. It could trigger you and then stop you out. So there's 2 things I see on this chart. 1, we're losing momentum, and 3, it's congested. And that is more or less the same as we're seeing here. We've pulled down off the top and we're losing momentum, and we're going sideways and then eventually up and out. So if we got a second entry short here, I would take that. So I'm always looking as well, what am I going to be stopping out? That was a big one for me, and we've already broke below it. Anything there is all gone now. So if I took a short here, it would have to be a really good one. We've got a channel coming down, which we can see. Sellers at 80, which is below the lows, which is always good. At 77.5. So there's sellers down, sorry, buyers down here, my mistake. Yeah, that's the key. I used to have a laminated piece of paper saying, taking a trade, look left. Always look whether you're trading into support, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bars if you include that one, 10 bars if you include that one. You're trying to go short through that lot. So it's always a risky game, that is. But yeah, it's unfortunate. As soon as you see that bar there and you see that. Now, if the bar closed here, then that I may consider, because there's enough space to go down to break that low. So if I could manage to get in short there, and there was a stop there, I expected that to get stopped out, then that may be an option. But there's all these little things will go through your head. It'll all become automatic at some point. You'll just, I don't count anymore. I don't work out this, that, and the other. I can just look at it and go, I either like it or I don't. And that will come in time. So Thomas Wade marked that one. I'll be interested to see later whether he took it. I mean, I get why people would have taken it for sure. Clearly 2 legs up, nice big bearish bar, trapping them longs. I absolutely get it. No, I don't know whether he did or not. That's what I mean. I said it'd be interest. He's marked it, but I don't know whether he took it. Now, knowing Thomas Wade, because of the size of the bar, he'll have taken a limit order anyway. So if he did take it, that came back. But I don't know whether he took it. He does tend to mark them. I was looking for a strong lower high, but looks like nothing. So, I know that was a previous one. So I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I don't know whether he will or not. This is really trying, they're really trying to push this up. Yeah, well, I say that. I mean, usually he won't take a bar that big. He'll put a limit order. If he put a limit order, it may have come back and triggered him, and it may have stopped him out. I don't know, but I'm guessing Thomas Wade would have seen all that support and going short into it. He'd have probably left it alone or waited for a lower high, which we didn't get. So I'm guessing he probably left it. In fact, I mentioned that on the stream yesterday, Jan. I said you use something like ChatGPT and run the numbers and you couldn't see an edge. And whether it was just going for second entries, context is so much of where and when to get in. Now, by the count, it is a second entry short and it is a failed breakout, but the context is going short into support. So whether, you know, these AI programs will, you know, look at the context side of it as opposed to just the setup, I'm not sure. But I mean, if you'd have just looked at setups, you know, so many of these setups will fail because the context is wrong, and, you know, so on. Yeah, don't underestimate how difficult it is to learn to trade. It really is. You've constantly got to be on your game, and you've got to kind of think out all scenarios. Excuse me a sec. Yeah, there's so much about context. So we got a channel there with a break. Now I would wait for a lower high here. But we had a good strong push down, and it's still pulled back. So, we could end up, getting something along those lines. Could end up doing something like that. I found out, wait for those super obvious trades. People used to say to me, wait for a really good setup, and I'm thinking, how good a setup does it need to be? And I usually find it's the ones that I click the button without thinking or questioning it. I just go short or go long. As I say, the one I took a few days ago, where was it? Was it that one there? That one there. That's a no-brainer for me, that is. It's a second entry short, lower high, failure. Everything's right about that setup for me. I wouldn't question that. I just jumped straight in. And look how well it came down. You're in and out of that trade straight away. So that, for me, is the type of setup I like. An absolute no-brainer. But, you may only get a couple a week. But if you take 2 trades a week, like I might do, and they're winners, there's still $1,000 per month per account. If you've got 20 accounts, $20,000 is it's not pocket change, it's good money. And then if you've got 20 accounts and you're making money on those 20 accounts, you could pick up 5 Traderify accounts, 5 Lucid accounts, 5 take profit, and you can double that money. And then you can start funneling some of it into your own account and grow in that way. So you don't need to take a lot of trades to make a lot of money. So I'm looking for a lower high here. Not sure we're going to get one. Absolutely. I mean, I only trade one contract as well. But I've got 20 accounts. So if I took a trade now for $150, 3 points, that's $3,000. If I do that twice a week, that's $6,000 a week. And if you wait for really good trades, you're going to lose very few. My win rate is about 93.6%, something like that. I've lost one trade in 2 months. So if you wait for those good setups, and stay out the messy stuff, all your trades will more or less work. It's really that effective. So I think we'll have a second leg down here. I'm just hoping we get a pullback, but because that's such a nice bearish bar below the EMA, I don't think we will. I think this thing will just come down, which is unfortunate. But that one I don't want to take with the way price has been, but the lower high I would have done. Can I live in the UK? Certain parts of the UK you probably can't. But that's just with 20 accounts. If I bought, my plan throughout this year is to buy 550,000 Lucid, 550,000 Traderify. I can trade 2 contracts on those, so I could theoretically double what I've got now. That could make you 40,000 a month. So the potential is there. I thought I've got to be taking 2-3 trades a day for 2 contracts to make decent money. It's not the case. Major lower high was your chance, in my opinion. We haven't got a lower high. You can't really class that as a lower high. This is a channel with a break. So it's only really a first entry. That's more of a higher low. We'll kind of do that, but we're already down here, and there's a break, so it's only a first entry. And the trouble is, the way this is at the moment, you've got to be careful with that bar there because we could push a bit higher. You just don't know. It's a reasonable sized channel down, so you could have another go. So the safer bet for me is to leave that and wait for the lower high. If I get a decent lower high, the chance of winning that trade then jumps up dramatically. Exactly the same as this trade I showed. That one, a little bit risky. Look how much heat you took on it, but look at that one. You took a tick on it and then it dropped straight down. So that lower high then comes into a second entry short and a failure. So the chance of it working is way better. But a lot of the time you won't get it. It will come down, but much better to miss a trade and not take a loss. So we've had 2 legs up and 2 legs down. So the market is actually working relatively neatly. We got a nice channel down there, 2 attempts to push higher, so the market's working nicely. Unfortunately, if we'd have had a lower high here, that would have been beautiful. But sometimes we just don't get it. You're done for the day. Good on you, bud. Yeah, Mac won't class that as a lower high. We've got a channel with a break. The lower high or higher low, the opposite will be there because we're in a channel. But that one is a channel down. There isn't a lower high there, and then we've got a break. So it's 2 legs down. So Mac wouldn't describe that as a lower high. Bearish bar, lower high. You know what I mean? So there, that's a lower high then, yeah. I think he might. You'll hear him say that so many times, but we've got a micro channel there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 bars there with a clear break. So yeah, that's how I'd see it anyway. A lot of the times, you know, it kind of won't work. So there are buyers down here at 80. You can see where that bottom leg is, and there are buyers down here at 75. There are way more buyers down here than sellers up here. So I wouldn't consider that a lower high. I would consider that possible failure. Trouble is, with a channel with a break and a new low, I would have to be a bit careful here. So this, I mean, it's attempting, but it's really struggling to get down. So, a lot of you guys know Penguin, don't they? The Penguin Trader. So he has a channel down here with a break. 2 attempts to go lower, failure. So he would take a trade like that, Penguin would, and he would probably do something like that. Stop there. That's 1 to 2. Let's adjust that. So 1 to 1. That's the type of trade he would take. 2 legs up, 2 attempts to push higher. Once it pushes above that EMA failure, order here somewhere, somewhere around about there, stop there, and that would have worked depending on where you had it. I still think it may push up a bit more, but so whether he would kind of put it there or whether it would, so we're not far, depending on how he does it, but usually when it pushes above, that's kind of, so maybe he'd have put it there, but I still think that'd work. But you can clearly see that, clearly see a break, 2 legs up, and then 2 attempts to push higher and a reverse up pretty strong. So a strong move up there. So he'd have been out of there. There we go. I'm guessing as it pushed up, he'd have probably put an order here and got it on a limit order. I put it as low as I can here. So whether he'd be triggered there or a little bit lower somewhere, but that would have worked. 2 attempts to go lower. He's a good trader, Penguin is. Yeah, he's a very knowledgeable trader. But that's his type of trade, that is. Now, granted, he's moved over to the 500 tick chart, but he used to say this clear channel down here, no argument about that. Clear break. And 2 attempts to go lower. Once you've had 2 attempts to go lower and it's struggling and it pushes up like that, chances are it's either having another go or it's going to clear out some of this or it's going to push higher. But it's struggled. You can clearly see it struggled to get down there. Hence, that one got stopped out, and we managed to get below there. That for me was an important stop out there. If it didn't flush down after that, it was going to struggle to, and clearly 2 clear legs down and a reversal. So I could tell it was struggling to get down here. But you never know, it may push up. Maybe there may be more sellers who are getting up here a little bit. Excuse me a second. Time is it? Okay, I'm going to take, how long have we been going for? 2 hours and 40. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'm getting a bit dry in the mouth. So I'm just going to put that on there, and I'll be about 5 minutes and I'll be back. Righty-tighty. And indeed, that was an overshoot. It may have been. The thing is, if I look on this chart, it wasn't perfect touch, perfect touch, perfect touch, perfect touch. So this, it wasn't 10,000 tick chart. As of then, it wasn't. So maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but I'm aware of it. Now, if we get an overshoot, majority of the time we'll just get a bigger break or a bigger correction. But it did make 2 efforts to push it down and then obviously reversed. So whether it does make its way down or what, but we got sellers up here. Let me have a look. So we got sellers at about 98. Sorry, yeah, 98, which is there, which is close to overnight highs. So do you remember I marked this a bit earlier and said we could just have two bigger pushes up, and that's the case. We could channel break new high. We still could come down and make a new low. It's certainly possible, but today has been quite a choppy arse day, isn't it? It's not been straightforward. Are we still just in an overall range? We kind of are, aren't we, really? It's just a range day, really. Trouble is, range days like these are flipping frustrating because every time we bounce, we hit it at a different place, so it's almost impossible to trade these from tops and bottoms, but it's certainly deep enough, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's 33 points from top to bottom, so you can certainly get in shorts close to the top and ride them down, and longs close to the bottom and ride them up. So there's still trades in here, but it's hard to trade as a certainly range tops because you just never know what's going to happen. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Nice of you to say so. Thank you. You're very welcome, mate. You're very welcome. Nice to feel needed. So, is this just 2 attempts to push higher, and is this going to find its way down? I wouldn't be surprised. So, where are buyers? We've still got buyers down there at 80, which is below the lows of this previous channel. So it may still come down. It's a fair sized channel, so it's certainly within the right parameters. So there's the lows. We're up to this 61.8 level, and we seem to be rejecting there. The first push up went up to 50%, and then we pushed a touch higher, so we certainly could come down, but I'd like to see a strong move below that. Yeah, sometimes we don't get it. Not often, though. You know, usually in range days, they're the times sometimes when we don't. But if you look right from the early morning here, we got a channel with a break and a new low, channel break, new high, channel. We had a break here. We attempted to make a new low. But when we get close to the bottoms in a range day, sometimes it just reverses. Up here, break, new high, down here, break, didn't make a new low. Channel break, new high, channel break, new low. So for the most times, but when we get up towards the tops and bottoms, sometimes it'll just, you know, it's irrelevant really if we've got a channel going up. If we hit an area where sellers come in, sometimes sellers will just push price down. So yeah, that's the thing about trading. There's so many different kind of, what's the word Matt uses? Multiple personalities. And it's hard to understand them all, but one thing we have got is if something is not feeling right, you don't need to be an amazing trader just to stay out of a trade. All you got to do is not push the button. So I still think there's a fair chance this could come down. That looks like 2 legs up to me. In fact, I could probably push that a touch more. It's very close. You can see we started to go sideways. We pull back quite strong. Now, it could still go up. There's always a possibility, but my guess is I think it's certainly going to try and come down. Now, one thing I am concerned about is you've got buyers around the 1990s. So there are buyers who don't want this thing to come down. So you've got to be a bit careful. There's 250 contracts kind of within a point or so of each other there. So 1990, a little bit above as well. But there are on the opposite side sellers at 95. Now, if this comes back and we have a little push up, there are sellers here. So, but when you got buyers and sellers, sometimes it'll start to chop sideways. So, but there is 2 moves up, isn't there? So yeah, you still got to be a bit careful when you got buyers and sellers right above you. It may well start doing this a little bit. So 10,000 tick chart. You can see it's starting to lose momentum. We had a second entry short here which triggered and came down, could not get below the lows and pushed up. But, you know, that trade there, it's still going short into support, which may have something to do with why it couldn't get down. But now we've pushed up and cleared any previous liquidity that may be there. That may be the catalyst, who knows? Okay, so channel down, break. Still need a second entry here. I can't just jump in here with the bear bar. So there are sellers around about there where that measured move was. I can get rid of that now. Not a huge amount, but there are buyers there, which is below price. So a second entry short up here, as long as you've got enough room. But it's such a small channel, I can't see us having two pushes. I think something small and down it'll come. Excuse me, just a sec. Sorry about that. My wife's just bought a bottle of whiskey. So I've just asked her to send me a dram up. Okay, so let's have a look. So would I consider that a lower high? That's about as much as a lower high as I would consider. Although on here it is more of a channel with a break. I would still wait for either a failure here, second entry short stroke failure, just in case. Price is above the EMA. There are probably buyers here, but there's not much downwards movement to stop them out, so I would just have to sit tight here. So everything's pointing to two bigger legs up and possibly a move down to test the lows, but unfortunately there's nothing I can do here just at the moment. Yeah, so much of trading is just sitting around doing nothing, unfortunately. But think about what else you could be doing in my life. So before I started trading, I was bricklaying. I'd be stuck out on site for 8 hours a day. Half the time, living in the UK, I'd be walking around in mud. I'd be cold in the winter and sweat my arse off in the summer. Now I can work 3 hours without even leaving the house and make more money than I ever did. Think about the freedom I've got here now. We have a 12-foot round, 1 metre deep steel frame pole in the garden. It's just one of those Apex, one of those Intex ones. They're a few £100. They're not expensive. And we have a £150 sand filter, which keeps it crystal clear. So I can get up in the morning, have myself a coffee, go out for a nice walk, do a bit of shopping, come home, do a bit of sunbathing, have a nice dip in the pool, and I can sit on a chart for 3 hours and talk to you nice people. So life just doesn't get much better than that. So if it means I've got to put up with a couple of hours of being bored, I can live with that. I can live with that. Just think about, there's so many worse things you could be doing in life. You never have to worry about being sacked, being made redundant. You don't even need to worry about being ill. You can sit on your bum on a nice comfortable chair in your house, even if you're ill. So there's so many benefits to trading. Yes, it takes 3, 4, 5, 6 years to get it right, but when you can do it, you've got such an easy, well-paid life where you've got freedom. Sat by the markets. Yeah, I mean, how many jobs can you just decide to stop trading one day, move to a different country and start trading another day? There's no other jobs that you can do that. I've got a friend who goes down to the south coast and he wants to retire there with his wife. He'd love to move down that now, but he can't because he's got a business. If he moves, he'll lose customers. He'll lose his business. But as a trader, you've got nothing like that. You can just literally do and go wherever you want. So there's so many benefits to being. I mean, you've literally got no overheads. You know, once you've obviously got your prop accounts and you've paid for them and you're not blowing accounts, what have you got? You don't need a premises. You don't need vehicles. You don't need insurances. You don't need tools. There's so many benefits to being a trader. But yeah, so it might take you 5 years or 6 years or something like that to do it. That's okay. That's okay. It's a small price to pay, that is, for a nice, easy life, especially for you younger guys as well, who've got loads more time ahead of you. These two charts, the only difference with this one is if you click that little button there, this one has got break at end of day deselected. So it makes a difference between the two tick charts here. So sometimes if the context is good, but you haven't got a setup, you may have one on the other chart. Oh no, Thomas Wade's gone long. Oh, he hasn't. Oh, Thomas Wade's gone long on here, that bar there. I was looking at a short here, 2 attempts to go higher. Thomas Wade's gone long above there. I hope it works. So we got a channel down with 2 attempts to push up. He's gone long, 1 tick above that bar there. I hope it works for him. Would I want to go short here either? The trouble is there's not much room to the lows. That's a problem. 0.5. You're definitely going to hit some stops there, that's for certain. But there's no room to the lows, unfortunately. Yeah, you can see it there. He's gone short there. He's got a wider channel. He's just been stopped out. Yeah, that's the thing, really. Thomas Wade opens these channels up like this. He'll go like that. But look on my left chart. Look how tight that is with a clear break and a new high. Clear break, 2 pushes to a new high. So you've got to keep your channels really super tight. That way you won't get caught going long. I'm surprised he got caught in that. That's a bit of a rookie mistake, that. Is this going to make 12 ticks? Trouble is, as Mac will say, you need to have enough room to the lows, and there's a 1.25 at a push. So there's not enough for me, although I do think there's a good chance this could come down. The bit that concerns me is we got 2 legs it could push up. We've made multiple attempts to try and push lower, and it's really struggling. Yeah, he went long. What he did, and he does this for some reason, I don't quite know why. He draws a bigger channel too soon, so that's how he's drawn a channel there. So he's seeing this as a second entry long, and he's took that bar there. But look at this, we've got a channel here with a break, 2 pushes to, it's already played out, that channel has. So I'm surprised he got caught in that. That's the type of trade I used to get caught in all the time. I used to go for a wider channel, but never mind. It's another reason why I still wouldn't go short here, because there's not enough room to the lows for me. And look what's happening on this chart. Are we getting 2 attempts to go lower again, like we did here? So we had a break here and we had 2 attempts to go lower, and it couldn't. And maybe we got the same, another 2 attempts, so this may go up. So it's another reason why I didn't get into a short there, because it wouldn't have worked for me. Yeah, he got caught out there. Never mind. Have you tried only entering if both charts show? Well, I kind of do that anyway, because both charts are very similar. But a lot of the time, this will give you the benefit of the doubt. So if you've got great context, but the bar isn't quite good enough, it may be better on the next chart. You see what I mean? And that's kind of how I use it. So is this now going to push up? We had the same there. See that? 2 legs back and up we went. 2 legs back. Is this going to push up? I'm not going long here at the moment because it's a bit congested. I don't really know what's going on here at the moment. For the last kind of hour and 10 minutes, we've just been kind of chopping up and down, really. You can read it, but it's just not easy. So is this going to come down and stop below there? It may do, or it may not do. Who knows? Yeah, Thomas Wade does that a lot. He opens his charts up, especially these smaller ones. He'll often do that. And that can catch you out a bit. So, see, I mentioned here, there's sellers here and buyers here. Price is likely to do this. This is exactly what it's doing. It's chopping up and down. Now, there are sellers at 95 now. So, my guess is now we've hit them buyers. Price is likely going to push up. But it's clearly working between these two levels, isn't it? So, that's another reason to have Bookmap. It does show you where other traders are putting their orders. So you can see 105, 107 contracts right there. Chances are now it's close to there. It's going to push up and hit them. So it came down, hit them buyers there, and now it's pushed up and hit the sellers. But you can see how it's kind of rebounding between these two levels. Conflicting bias, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm really surprised Thomas Wade took that because that looks so neat. Even on this side, you can clearly see there's a break. So we got, yeah, well, yeah. Sometimes you just, you do just get caught out, but there is really a little kind of a micro channel down there with a break. There's the first entry. There was the lower high stroke second entry. Now, did it play out and did it work? Absolutely. It did what it was supposed to, push down and hit the new lows. But for me, personally, there wasn't enough space. So you'd have got a point out of that, but it did play out. So channel break. That's the trouble with taking second entry shorts when the channel's so small. Often it'll make a low and then it could, do the complete opposite, which is why I left it. If it had been up here and I'd have had plenty of space, I would have had a go at it, but unfortunately. But then it trapped traders going long as well and came down, stopped them out, and then pushed up and took out. It played out and then reversed up, took out sellers who may have decided to hold on a bit there. See, half the battle is when it's like this and it's not clear, is just staying out. I found it so difficult to do, a year or two ago. It's just patience. And what happens is your mind almost tries to make up trades. And then you end up getting stuck. Whereas over time, I've realised, wait for something obvious. And that way you'll lose hardly any trades. And since I started doing that, things are just so much easier. So much less frustrating. Wait for a trade that I would absolutely 100% take that. See 2 legs down. My guess is it would push up a bit, but I don't know how far it's going to go. 97.5. So there are sellers there. Where are those sellers? 1 tick above that bear bar there. And then a bit higher as well, so up to 7,000, sorry, and above 7,250, which is, say, there. So we may do this now. I'm going to say price is working nicely in legs. If I push up to there, look, sell, sell, sell. So we've got a nice working channel, 2 clear legs up, 2 clear legs down, channel break new high, 2 attempts to go lower, failure, and a move up. So for me, price is likely going to work higher. So it is readable. Certainly a lot of this is. You right there? Cheers, everyone. Happy Friday. I know it's not Friday, but there you go. Oh, first whiskey I've had for 4 or 5 days, I think. I always throw a sim on the ones I make up, or not 100%. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that at all. You know, when Matt talks about learning to trade, he always says, take all the trades you believe that qualify. And that's how you, cheers, bud, and that's how you kind of work out which ones work and which ones don't. So if you're finding it hard, don't beat yourself up about it. It's not easy and it does take time. You know, I've been damn right miserable for months and months in the past, but just keep it in mind, this is not impossible to do. It's relatively straightforward, but it takes longer than you think. And unfortunately, there's a lot of frustration, which is why it seems so hard. But, you know, if you want to become a lawyer or a doctor, it's damn so harder than this. But people do it every day. So if you're finding it hard or you're getting chopped up or losing trades, just keep it in mind. Every time you lose a trade, you're learning something. It just doesn't feel like it, but you are. You know, so don't beat yourself up when things go wrong. So leg up, little correction. I could have taken that and I was very tempted. Trouble is the bar was relatively big. So a tick above, tick below, it's 4.5 points. I am aware that we haven't made a new low. We've made 2 legs up, 2 legs down, a leg up with a correction. There's always a possibility, but I think it's unlikely. You can see how that bounced right. You can see how that midline's played a part right the way throughout the whole day, and it did bounce off that midline. So you clearly see 2 legs down. So I think there's a fair chance that was going to work, but it was just a little bit... the bar was a little bit larger than I really wanted. A higher low, I think, hopefully would have been a little bit smaller. But on this chart here, the bar wasn't so good, and it closed below the EMA, so... mind making up trade? Absolutely it does. Who's the guy, Ashraf something? He makes a lot of money, that Asian guy. Nice guy is. He's the one that owns TradeZeller. Watch some of his videos. He said he used to trade normal time. He used to make some money, and then he'd finish, and then he'd have that urge to come back later, and he'd say to himself, I'm only going to sit here and watch, and your mind makes up trades, and before you know it, you ended up losing your profit. And he's a 7-figure trader, so... I like hearing people like that talk, you know, these traders who've done really well in life. It's nice to know they've struggled. Sometimes you think the guys that making a fortune haven't struggled. They have. Everyone does. It's not an easy this. There are probably some people who've, take to it like a duck to water, but I bet that's few and far between. But if you just put that time in, it'll come. There's a wider channel up. I'm not so sure at the moment, because that to me looks like two legs. Now, this looked like two legs, but look how broad this is compared to that one. So what I tend to do, it could be. In fact, it doesn't fit terrible, but I didn't mark this until it started getting some rejection. So 2 points down, sorry, 2 legs down. Once it started to struggle to get above here, that's when I kind of drew that channel, and then it came down a bit more and bounced again. So 2 legs, I tend to generally leave it alone. If I see it starting to work back, then I'll draw something and see how it reacts to this line. But what I will say from experience, the broader these 2 legs are, the more chance this has got of coming down. So we've got a leg up there with a correction. Now, would I sell this? No, not at the moment, because we have had multiple chances to move down. It might have just cleared the highs and some profit taken. The trouble is I can see sellers there. And sellers there. So for now, I'm just going to sit tight because it's not super clear. We'll see what happens. Things change, channels and stuff are a kind of it's a constant ongoing process, isn't it, of adjusting and changing and stuff. I mean, it's been quite a choppy day. There hasn't been a hell of a lot of volume, really. Price has been moving literally 10, 20, 30 in a 40-point range right from the open. So it's not been the easiest of days, but having said that, 1 trade a day is more than all you need. That one I liked. I took that on my take profit trader. I hadn't opened the market for long, but look how nice that was. We've got a channel with a break and a new low, 2 legs up, trapped some shorts, nice failure, and look how well it worked. And not only that, is they're always nicer. It's important, really, for me, that it breaks previous liquidity. And it had. And then you get a bull bar followed by a beautiful, strong, higher low, followed by a trigger and another bull bar. For me, there's not much in the way of liquidity down here. The only people in this trade are the people who bought from these 2 levels. So for me, that was going to go up. So I went 2 contracts on that one and got, I think, 4 points. I got $470 something. It's a nice trade, that is. But 1 trade a day and you're laughing, you really are. 3 trades a week and you're laughing. The bigger range has higher highs and higher lows. You're on about, I'm not sure what you're on about there, bud, at the moment. No, the bigger range has higher highs and higher lows. You're on about this. You're on about something like that. Yeah, I think that's what you mean. That doesn't work for me, bud. It's too sideways, really. Mind you, I've seen Mac draw some odd ones, to be fair. But no, I don't touch stuff like that, really. It's as much sideways as it is moving up. Yeah, granted, we've pushed a little bit higher. But no, it's just typically ranging at the moment and chopping up and down, but it's just catching it right and finding something where we're moving to the other side of it and we're trapping some traders. I did come back for an hour last night, but I never took anything. Yeah, see, at the moment, this isn't working, is it? If it comes up here and then starts to move down towards here, that's typically when I would add that just to see if it respects that. But at the moment, we've not quite got the legs, have we? So that was it. I'm going to do 5 more minutes and then I'm going to stop there, I think. I am going to start doing a few videos, actually. Something I've never really bothered with, but I do see a lot of these other YouTubers having, you know, large amounts of subscribers. And obviously you start making a little bit of money from YouTube then. But I've kind of fallen behind a little bit, but I may start doing a few, actually. I think they're probably going to be a bit fun to do, aren't they? But they'll be short ones, I think. Not only that, the bigger the YouTuber you are in this business, the more power you have, you're less likely to get messed around, for starters. I know a lot of the times, you know, people have messaged at Kellyanne and she says, I spoke to the prop firm. They won't speak to me. I'm a nobody at the moment, but obviously the bigger you grow, the more potential impact you can have. You've got a little bit more sway then, so but I haven't got many subscribers, 2,000, I think, not many. But I'm going to start to grow the channel, I think. You get better discounts on bits of software and stuff like that. See, just been looking at this on the CL chart. We've had a nice channel there. And we've had 2 attempts. Now, there's a second entry short plus a lower high, which both worked, I think. So I would go for 10 ticks here. So that worked just. That did. And the lower high did. But now there's 2 legs up right to the tick. So this may well come down and test these lows. It's hard to say. But that would have worked. Well, That one I'd have taken, I think, would have been the better option. Channel break, new high, bearish bar. You've got a bit. I didn't notice it. In fact, I had my channel like that, but I still didn't notice it. But it was actually 2 nice channels up and a lower high. But if I'd have took that there, I go for 10 ticks on this. So it went down for 18 or 17, but it clearly worked anyway. But I didn't notice that. I've been focusing a bit on this, but yeah, it's a shame that is. Not only that, it actually you can clearly see support along there. It clearly tested that and rejected. So nice that was. Shame I missed that. Okay, 3.5 hours. That's me done for the day. I'm going to pop back for an hour later. So I appreciate your company. If you're carrying on trading, best of luck. I hope you get something. If you sit around long enough, you may do. So I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great evening. Stay safe. And I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.